Hello everyone, this is the first lesson recording for IM2, December 14th, 2020. This is the last lesson meeting before the finals, and we are going to do review for the day. All right, so the final schedule is such that you are going to be coming to the finals on Wednesday. Period 1 is from 9 to 11, and period 2 is from 12 to 2. About the finals, there will be 40 questions that's still being figured out. Numeric answers or multiple choices only. That means no explain or no long answer questions. You will need to show evidence of your work on paper and upload it to Canvas. And you will have the full 2 hours, possibly 20 minutes or half an hour less. So you have to expect 1.5 hours at least. And questions are very similar to existing quizzes and unit tests. So that should be a big hint to you to look over your mistakes on the quizzes and unit tests because they are right now open. So please look over, figure out what you made, what was your error, and so that you will not make the same error on the finals again. The retakes for quiz number 6 that you just took last Thursday is open for all. If you scored less than 70%, you do need to attend the study hall. That's on Monday at 12:10. And then on Tuesday, 10:15 a.m., study hall will be the actual retake. Those of you who feel you are very ready to take the retake, you can certainly contact me about it. All right, quick recap of all the things that we have covered. Unit 1 was on linear review, solving x on both sides of the equations, as well as writing equations of a line and so on. Unit 2 was angle pairs, geometry notation, angle pair relationship. Unit 3 was polygon triangle congruence and similarity. Unit 5 was on right triangle trigonometry, and Unit 6 was on polynomials. So these are all the things that will be on the finals. Notice that there will not be any factoring problems, taking out the GCF or factoring when A is equal to 1. So the last 2 lessons will not be on the test. However, distributive property and multiplying polynomials will be on the test. So on this slide, if you click on any of these, they will give you link. Okay, so any of the blue highlighted words, there'll be links for additional resources. On top of that, you should be looking at all the resources you already have. Of course, all the slide deck and the lesson recording for each of the lessons for the whole semester is available in Canvas. I am finding that some students are not aware of that. So if you're ever absent, or if you had tech issue, or if you just slept in and you did not hear the first half of the lesson or whatever, you should be watching the lesson recording and you should be looking at the slide deck. Okay, so at this point, we are going to move on to PADET. Okay, so this question is asking you to list all information given by the marks on the diagram. Use correct notation. For the typing sake, instead of the angle notation, you can use the less than symbol to indicate the angle notation. You use the double bar that is on top of the backslash that's next to the curly parenthesis to indicate parallel lines, and to indicate congruent symbol, which is equal sign with a curly symbol, you would just use equals with a curly symbol following it. Okay, so now what are we taught Well, we're told that this side is, they have the same measure. So how can we write that? We're talking about the side measure TU being exactly the same, or they are congruent to VW. Okay, so we would use the congruent symbol. Now, if you said WV, that does not matter. That's the same thing. VW and WB, V are the same thing. Okay, so we've taken care of that. What about these two angle measures? Okay, so if we just said angle V is congruent to angle W, this would be ambiguous because angle V could be talking about this angle, or it could be talking about the linear angle, and W could be talking about this angle or the linear angle. So it's ambiguous, so you cannot use one letter notation for this angle congruence. You need to use three letters. So we always start with a ray, and the vertex of the angle has to be in the middle. So it could be UVW, or you could say WVU. So I'm going to do UVW is congruent to, okay, to indicate this angle that we know to be congruent, we can say XWV, or alternatively you could have said VWX would be also correct. Okay, what about the two parallel line notation? That's indicated by two arrows, right? So we know that this line, and that is indicated by the lowercase g. This is the line G, and this is line H. So we could say G is parallel to H, or we could say UV is a segment, right? And WX is another segment, WX. These two are parallel. So I could have said either one. Okay, so those are the three things that we are taught from the marks. Okay, this time we have to match the diagram with the correct angle pair name. So the options to choose from are here. And then write the equation to represent the measurement relationship, and then finally solve for x. Okay, so option to choose from. What angle are we talking about? Well, it's inside the two parallel lines, so it's going to be interior. But it is on the same side of the transversal. So this is same side interior. Okay, now what do we know about same side interior? Do they look like they're congruent to you? They're not, right? One is acute, one is obtuse. So they definitely are not congruent, but they add to 180 degrees when we have two parallel lines. Okay, so same side interior angles of parallel lines are they add to 180 degrees, or they are supplementary. So we would write the equation 34x plus 2, that's the first angle here, plus 54x plus 2, that's this angle here. They need to add to 180 degrees. Okay, then combining like term, 34x and 54x, they're like terms, so that becomes 88x. And then 2 and 2, they are like terms, so plus 4 is equal to 180 degrees. Then from here, we can subtract 4 from both sides, which leaves me with 176 on the other side and 88x on the other side. Okay, so 88 times x is equal to 176. That means 88 is being multiplied to x. How do we undo multiplying? We divide both sides, and you're left with 8x is equal to 2. And that's my final answer. Okay, what about this? What are the angle relationship? Okay, well, it's transversals or they're intersecting lines and they're across from each other, and so they are called vertical angles. And what do we know about vertical angles? They are always congruent. They look like they're same in measure, don't they? 4x is equal to 56. 4 is being multiplied to x. How do I undo it? You divide both sides by 4, and you get x is 14. Next problem, what is the angle relation between this angle and this angle? Well, they form a straight line, don't they? So they are linear or straight angle. So, and what do we know about linear pair? They always add to 180 degrees because a straight line is 180 degrees. So we can say 80 plus 12x minus 8 is equal to 180 degrees. So 80 minus 8. Remember, we always try to simplify one side of the equal sign first, and then we solve the equation. 80 minus 8 is 72 plus 12x is equal to 180. We need to subtract 72 first to get rid of this, which leaves me with 12x is equal to 108. 12 is multiplied to 8x, so we divide both sides by 12, and x is equal to 9. Okay? Well, what do we know about these two angle pairs? Well, we have 32 degrees here and 5x plus 3. We know that this is a straight angle, so they form 180 degrees, but we already know that this is 90 degrees, so this must also be 90 degrees. So what do we call the angle relationship? They add to 90 degrees, so it's complementary. And so the equation will be 32, this angle plus this angle must add to 90 degrees. So 32 plus 3 is 35 plus 5x is equal to 90. So we're going to subtract 35 from both sides. And this leaves me with 5x is equal to 90 minus 35 is 45 degrees. Divide both sides by 5. And x is equal to 9. Okay, so different type of questions. We are told that triangle CBA is congruent to triangle CFG. This is a congruent symbol just in case you can't see. Whereas triangle CDE is similar, that's a similar notation to triangle FGH. So what do we know about angle A and G? Angle A and angle G. What is their relationship? Well, angle A and angle G, they're the last letters of the congruent statements. That means they're the corresponding angles. And what do we know about corresponding angles of congruent triangles? They're always going to be congruent. So we know that this is going to be congruent. So I'm going to circle that. What about angle A and angle F? Angle A and angle F. Angle A and angle F, they're not corresponding. So I know angle A and angle F, they're not corresponding. So we don't really know what the angle is. They could be congruent. They definitely, we don't, the angles are not necessarily proportional. So for all we can say is we do not know. And then finally, AB and GF. AB and GF, they are corresponding sides. So corresponding sides are going to be congruent.